You have the thing?
Gang, gang, gang. No, I don't. Black power, y'all. So, Black Hammer's motive and rallying cry for 2020 is never give up and push past your limits. So that's exactly what the fuck I'm doing right now. Because Facebook is on some old. It's on some old. And kicked me out of my last propaganda. But I'm back online. 7 people. Let's get it. I'm reviewing Parasite. I was like halfway through the damn review already, and I was talking about the visual representation of hierarchy in capitalism via like the visual storytelling. So the Parks literally live on top of a hill. The Kims live halfway underground and halfway above ground. And then the Guans live inside the Kim's house, but way below. The Guans are so distraught by capitalism that they cannot fend for themselves. They live off they work, but they live off the Parks, and Mr. Guan has been in that motherfucker for like 8 years, bruh. 8 years. It's like pretty much living like in solitary confinement. You know what I'm saying? Which is metaphoric to like the most kind of oppression with like being economically distraught. You know what I'm saying? Like you see the mental toll that it has on him, to the point like he like bangs his head on like these light switches and stuff like that every time like the Guans come home. And the Guans are so rich and so like just unaware of their privilege that they think that the light switching off and on caused by Mr. Guan's like head bashing is automatic. It's like it's as if their lights are motion sensitive, but really it's Guan bashing his head into the ground or into the wall because he's gone fucking insane from being poor. Which, relatable content. You know what I'm saying? The movie, spoiler alert, spoilers. The movie reaches its climax when the son ends up like freeing Mr. Guan. And Mr. Guan is fed up with living in a motherfucking hole. So as soon as he gets the chance to escape, he bashes like the rich son's like head in, grabs a knife, and things get a little stabby. You know what I'm saying? Things are getting stabby for Mr. Guan because he's tired of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's mentally distraught. Like, it gets to the point where like he stabs the poor daughter pretending to be the maid. He like cuts somebody else up. You know what I'm saying? But to me, like who he cuts up, like all that plot point stuff like that, that's not my concern. I'm trying to analyze this from what it means to us and what's the propaganda under it. You know what I'm saying? Like you see him, they show him with his with blood on his face, real pissed off, real crazy looking, and he's stabbing everybody, and all the rich people are in horror. They're just like, oh my god, I need to get in my Lexus and dip. But is it that crazy? Is it that crazy to live underground and live under this like crazy oppression for years and then be like, man, fuck y'all, bro. I've been here, and the whole time that he's underground, he like looks up to the Parkers. You feel me? He has like some sort of adoration and admiration for the main patriarch of the Park family, Mr. Parker. And only to find out that like that dude's an asshole, you know? So his whole shit is split, bro. And the only reconciliation is what in real life would be kind of like a a violent revolution, you know? Like coming up from your impoverished homes and like taking it to your oppressor. That's all it is. And this is why I come back to that weird ambiguity kind of thing where people are like, I don't know who's the good guy. I don't know who's the bad guy. It's obvious who the fucking bad guy is. It's the rich people who live off these people's labor. It's the economy. It's the capitalist economy that is the bad guy. That put this man in this impoverished condition, broke his fucking mind, and to the only point is that he has to fight for his freedom and stab motherfuckers. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. The Parkers got it. The Parkers had the money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't had nothing for like 10 years, so he took it to it. It ended up costing his life, you know, which like when you like picture him like that, it just seems like he's like a crazy dude. But like that's kind of how all capitalist motherfuckers portray revolutionary people. Not to say that like Mr. Parker or my fault, Mr. Guam was a like ideal revolutionary figure, but he represented the frustration of being broke as fuck under capitalism. He represented like how much that takes a toll, because he was a good dude. He just wanted a banana. He just wanted bananas regularly, but life kind of fucked him up in a way like that. There's another indication that implies that, you know what I'm saying, like it wasn't the Parkers, it wasn't the most rich people shown to like brutalize the most poor people. At the end of the day, it was the Kims, who are also working class people, enacting violence on each other. The Kims and the Guams. There's even a point that is really metaphorical where Mrs. Kim does that whole 300 kick, blah, kicks Mrs. Guam down the whole flight of stairs. You dig? And like we said, like the levels of it are representative of class, right? Like I said, the Parkers are on top, the Kims are in the middle, Guams are in the bottom. So the Miss Kim kicking down Miss Guam down to the bottom is symbolic of her, because she needs to stay in the Park's good graces. It's symbolic to like impose. You know what I'm saying? She has to stand above her own working class brothers and sisters. You feel me? On top of that, there's a scene, right, where after this kind of natural disaster, which rich people are completely like, they're completely ignorant to, like it doesn't matter, they're just on the couch even though the rest of their country is like drowning. You know what I'm saying? The Kims have to like evacuate their home, which is like practically underwater now, and go into the gym, and the Mr. Kim, the father, is talking to his son. He says something like, oh, having a plan is stupid, because don't you think all these other people have plans? And now look at them. They got, there's a natural disaster and we're all in the same place now, so it's dumb to have a plan. And the son is like, nah, man, you know, like the son just kind of like accepts it like what it is, like, yeah, whatever, dad. But that kind of narrative, it almost implicates that, or I would say it implicates that they're framing the Kims for not having a plan, not having a way to navigate capitalism. They are to blame for their own poverty, which is some bullshit, because rich people can only exist off the labor of poor people. For every one boss that you create, you need to have 10 workers. If one of those 10 workers just so happens to climb the capitalist ladder and becomes a boss, you will need 10 more workers for him to exploit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just in the capitalist heart. If you are a working class person in capitalism and you're like at motherfucking Subway or work at fucking Apple, then even then you're still kind of higher in that motherfucking scale, because the resources, whatever you made your sandwich out of, whatever your phone is made out of, somebody had to do that labor, and that labor is from the third world, you know what I'm saying, aka colonized countries, you know what I'm saying? So the myth of like, yeah man, you just have to work hard to make it in capitalism. Yeah, like not everybody can fucking make it, and the capitalism itself makes it so you need to be an exploiter to make it. You need to have the foot on people's necks in order to survive. Miss Kim practically fucking killed Miss Guan in order to have some food on her plate. You know what I'm saying? Which is grimy. But my whole point in saying all this is that the movie did not frame the Parkers for you know what I'm saying, being willful participant in this circle of violence. It was the Kims and the Guams. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes what they don't say in the movie is more indicative of what they do say in the movie. Like they kind of like see the Parks as like, man, yeah, we're kind of dumb or we're kind of negligent to a point of it causes violence or whatever, but it's just negligence, you know what I'm saying? The Kims and Guads is like stabbing people, kicking people and shit like that, all trying to survive. So they the ones that look crazy. When we're in reality, the fucking Parks, you know what I'm saying, representation of the bourgeoisie, they are the enactors of violence. Their wealth, their insane standard of living is all built off of the pain and suffering of the Kims and the Guams, representing the working class people. Bottom line, Parasite is a representation of the anxieties of the bourgeoisie. In the same way that Jordan Peele's Us is a representing of a anxiety of richer people. You know what I'm saying? Rich people see their world crumbling around them. So what is horror to them would be the working class coming for their resources. You know what I'm saying? And they frame the most repressed people taking revenge and uprising and like taking what's really theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like their own labor, taking control of their own labor and self-determination. You know what I'm saying? They frame that as a horror story. But to us who are the working class, that is the fucking dream, bitch. That is the fucking dream. Black Power. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Please follow Black Hammer. We are completely popping on social media. We are the Revolutionary Shade Room. We are like a journalistic entity online, as well as a progressive revolutionary force on the ground. So if that's something that you support, please donate to Black Hammer.org on Cash App and on PayPal. And see you next week.